So here we are then at the workstation for round 4 at the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan, and welcome back to this F1 29 Alfa Romeo career mode. So we've got a few messages to look at then. The weekend preview there from Carl as normal. The developments completed at the end of the last episode. We did some more developments on the durability side for the gearbox and the ICE. That will always be accepted onto the car going to the next race. There's no chance of it ever failing, so both of them are on there now, so hopefully the wear will be a little bit less on both of those components, which should save us from some grid penalties later on in the season. As for the weather forecast, cloudy with a bit of sun in qualifying, and it'll be the opposite in the race as well. We'll start off nice and sunny, and then the clouds will come in afterwards. So we'll have a look then. Contract obviously stays the same, as does arrivals and driver details. Research and development, no developments were done onto the car, it was strictly durability. So Red Bull have had another upgrade, Renault as well have had a major upgrade by the looks of it, and McLaren have had a minor upgrade. So we pretty much stay as we are at the moment, but I'm sure in the next few races, once we start to reduce the amount of time it spends on minor, major and ultimate upgrades as well, we should be able to get some more parts, I should say, uploaded onto the car and increase our performance during the course of the season. Don't want to make any predictions, but it'd be nice to be somewhere around the 440, 450 performance mark, which should somehow get us up to where Renault is, which would be nice for the end of season 1. These are the units then that will be carrying into FP1, FP2. In fact, we'll use them all for the entire weekend here. We might start swapping things out once things like the ICE and the MGU-H and the turbocharger, which are all in the 30s. Once they start hitting the 50s and 60s, we'll probably be swapping them out, running them in the practice sessions to try and save ourselves from any unnecessary penalties. Of course, there could be a point where we might as well at one point just order new parts for every single unit, including the gearbox, and take a stonkingly massive high grid penalty and just bite the bullet and deal with it at the time. But for now, anyway, we seem quite good on the wear side of things. So we'll come back to the screen then. Of course, I'll do FP1 and FP2 off camera, and I'll be back with you guys very shortly for FP3 and qualifying. So here we are then with FP3 and qualifying coming up. It's been a difficult 2 sessions, I'm not going to lie. FP1 we was off the pace, fiddling around with the setup to try and find a nice sort of balance out there as well, whilst maintaining our high top speed, because sector 3 is pretty much all flat out. And we managed to sort of improve our lap time as the session went on, but we still languished down towards the bottom of the timing screen. So then FP2 unfortunately was run in wet conditions throughout. I went out and did one of the practice programs towards the end of the session. It only logs a couple of laps because the rest of the weekend, if you like, is going to be dry. There's no point getting some a long wet running session in there if we're not going to need it. So the pace isn't there like it has been for the last couple of races, but that's fine. Baku is not one of my strongest circuits. It's another street circuit, and I really have not gone well there in the past at any street circuits really. So I think today is just going to be damage limitation, try to be as competitive as we can, of course, and maybe have a bit of luck in the race. We've kept it clean. I've brushed the wall once or twice here and there and knocked off an end plate or two, but I haven't like creamed it into the wall and suffered a DNF, so hopefully we can keep it relatively clean in the next few sessions. So we'll go to FP3 then. We've still got a little bit of running needed to do to gain some more resource points, and hopefully we can find a bit of extra speed as well. So in the garage here then, it's quite overcast, but I don't think there's any chance of rain in FP3. We'll just see what it's like in about 15-20 minutes time. I don't think there is any rain. There isn't. Qualifying is overcast. The race has got a bit of sun towards the beginning, but still overcast as well. So yeah, we've managed to do with track acclimatisation, the fuel management in the ERS management program in purple. We only got green in a tyre management. It's one thing I do struggle in. I don't know whether to do qualifying pace or the race strategy.
This is the third and final practice session of the weekend. If we want to run our qualifying sim program, and I strongly recommend we do just that, this is our last chance.
Yeah, I think we'll get a purple score on the race strategy. I think we might struggle to even get a green score on the qualifying pace program, but if we do very well in that, and we are quick in sector 1 and sector 3, we get an extra 10 resource points. But I think the race strategy one is probably the one to go for. We've got a set of mediums and a set of softs left. I think somewhere down there you go. Yeah, I did a couple of laps there, obviously in FP2 on the intermediate tyres, so we'll probably use the medium tyres. There is a bit of a difference. You see there, the soft tyres last 9 laps, 17 for the medium, 21 for the hard, so we are skipping another compound between here. As you can see, there's 5.5 tenths difference between a hard and the medium. but there's over a second difference between the softs and the mediums, so we are skipping the compound again between the softs and the mediums. The car setup then that I've chosen, the aero 5.6 here, feels really stable in the final sector as well for the very fast left-right at the end of the lap, and as well around the rest of the circuit in sector 2 where we are getting some good rear downforce out of the slower corners. Transmission 80-80 for the diff on and off, suspension geometry 3 clicks to the right for the camber, 3 to the left for the toe. Suspension 665-8-3-4, brakes 85-58 for the pressure and the bias, and tyres as it usually is, 1 click to the right for the front, 2 to the left for the rear. But I might I don't know what to do. I might keep it there. We are showing high tyre wear on the rear, but again I think that's down to my driving style more than anything else. I'm an early braker and I seem to put the power down mid corner rather than on the exit of the corner, and if you're putting the power down so early coming out the lower corners, that's where you lose the traction, that's where you get the wheel spin, and that's why my rear tyres are burning up at a quicker rate than the fronts. But we'll run with the setup anyway because I feel comfortable on it. So I think we'll do the race strategy one. That'll be the one that I think we've got the best chance of getting the most resource points in.
Try to take it easy for a couple of laps.
So I think there's only a few cars out on circuit at the moment. It's just a 30-minute session here. We won't run all of it, of course. I'll pretty much do this practice program, and as soon as it's completed, that'll be the session over for me. Because of course, now into FP3, we're running the race gearbox, and so obviously want to limit the mileage on it as much as we can. Still running all the unit number 1s that we've been running from the start of the season. But in the next race or two, we will start looking to going on to units number 2 for the practice sessions, or just changing parts about between sessions. Especially down the main straight, of course, with that long DRS, you pretty much spend, I think, something like 34 seconds, 35 seconds at full throttle in the last part of the lap. And that's where all speed is to be found. We're quite quick in Sector 3 and Sector 1, to be honest. Running the 5.6 wings. We have lost a little bit of time in Sector 2. We was well off the pace, actually, in Sector 2 and FP1, but we brought it back before the end of the session as well, getting comfortable with the setup and the tyres and obviously the driving style required on this circuit. This is a tricky corner on the circuit. You can easily lock up and outbrake yourself there and cream it into the outside wall. Everyone's done it at least once, I think. And now the final corner. And from this point onwards, we're flat until turn 1. DRS any second now. There's the line, open it up. We'll be over 200 miles an hour when we come across the line. And here we go then for the race strategy program. Try and do it in 3 laps if we can. Not too worried if we're a little bit down coming into the final sector. We are quite quick in a straight line, and we can also, you know, fiddle about with the fuel mix and the ERS modes as well to get us a bit of extra power down that main straight if we require it. And this is the infamous castle section now. Oh, twitchy. Yeah, this is where we lose a lot of our downforce. It's a bit of a Mickey Mouse section. Easy to make a mistake, of course. Long flat out double left-hander to another tricky corner. There we go, so no real need to change your ERS or the fuel this lap anyway. We will be green. Two temps, 2.5 temps, almost 3 temps up there.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
Still a tenth down, half a tenth down. We'll just get it into the green. Just by 200ths of a second.
What we asked for. Keep it up.
That's 2 laps done. This is now the 3rd one. Managed to nail this, we will get purple. As long as you don't crash, going in a straight line. We'll be about 3.5 tenths into the green, which means that we will complete the practice programme at the first try. And another little handful of resource points as well.
Okay, super job
There we
so
go.
far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
I can carry on to complete the final 2 laps to get some more additional information for the race, but I'm not going to bother doing that. We've got the required score. And that will be the end of our session. So I'll have the time to run down so we can get an accurate reading on where everyone is. A lot of people obviously running the soft tyres and FP3. I was tempted to do the same as well, but no, we just stuck to the mediums, had to do what we had to do. So that's the order there, as you can see, and we ended the session plumb last. 7 tenths slower than Lando Norris on the mediums, and the closest guy to us on the soft tyres was Grosjean, who was 1.8 seconds quicker than us. So yeah, it looks like we're around about 6 to 7 tenths off of the slower guys. So it could be a difficult qualifying session and a difficult race as well. But we're not going to be, you know, super competitive at every race. The car is still off the pace a little bit. China, I don't know why, that was just the perfect race for me really to score them points. With the strategy, Bahrain before that as well is a strong track for me. So I was always expected to go well there. And yeah, Bahrain is, Baku is just, it's not my most hated circuit. That's probably Monaco. But it is certainly a track where I've never really gone well in the past. Yeah, all I want to do really is just finish the race really. So we'll advance to qualify and see if we can try to get off the back row. So the resource points for FP3, this will be down a little bit, considering we only ran 3 laps. But it's still a nice little amount of resource points to add anyway, another 85. Takes us 1154. And the reputation there with a few of the teams went up a little bit. We did keep it clean in FP3 at least. And respect level there as well, just a little change in the rookie to veteran status. And now we get ready for qualifying. So we've got a few messages in obviously to read. Emma, good luck out there. The weather forecast from Jeffrey Nubat, cloudy and sunny and both qualifying in the race. And then obviously the blurb of the Baku City Circuit you see on the right hand side. But 8th in the Drivers' Championship, 6th in the Constructors. But I don't think we'll be improving that anytime soon on this episode. So we'll go to qualifying then. We'll all obviously do all our running on the soft tyres. No point at all in trying to risk it on the mediums. I don't even think we'll get inside the top 15 to be honest, even on the soft tyres. But you never know, we might find a bit of extra pace on the grippier tyres. And so hopefully, yeah, we don't qualify on the back row of the grid. So we'll go to qualifying and see what we can do in the 18-minute session.
Welcome to qualifying in the Republic of Azerbaijan. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green, and the fight for pole position can get underway. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
So I think the thing we should do is try to do as many runs as possible. I think we'll have 3 runs as you can see there. We'll just have a look at the car setup, drain the fuel out. It's a long lap here, minute 40 odd. So it's going to be tight to get all 3. We should be able to just do it as long as we go out early. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do then. As yeah, part of thermal regulations, that's all fine. And other engine noises are going on around me as other cars are coming out onto the circuit. You see a Red Bull just going past there. Don't be surprised if there's a few others as well before we emerge into the pit lane. Tyre blankets are off. We're off the jacks. We've got a bit of space, so out we come then. Yeah, I think we're 3rd or 4th in line. Limiter off. Alright, and qualifying. So I said, no, I'm not too sure what to expect from qualifying. As long as we're sort of competitive, I'd be fine. You know, if we qualified last, but it was only, I don't know, 2 or 3 tenths away from 16th, I'll take that. If we qualify last and we're you know, half a second away from the guy ahead of us, it's a bit like, oh, okay, we could be in for a bit of a dull race. But you never know what might happen in a race. You know, a safety car or a virtual safety car could appear. There could be retirements, there could be crashes. We know how aggressive the AI are, and there's really no margin for error around this circuit with the walls so close together. It's the first proper true street circuit of the calendar. Australia's a bit of a street circuit as well, but there is runoff in most of the areas. Round here, you make a mistake, the walls are pretty unforgiving. So we'll just come out the left, right, and then we'll bump up our fuel and ERS. We'll probably run out of ERS as well at some point, so we've got to keep this nice in check. So everything's up to the max for now. Clear behind, clear ahead. This will be our first lap. So we have just run out of EOS coming up to the line, but it felt like quite a nice lap, to be honest. If we are the slowest after, I will be disappointed, because there wasn't really many mistakes out there. So we'll have a slow tour back to the pits now and see where we are stacked up against everyone else. So just trundling down the pit lane now. We just managed to get back. We're in low fuel mode, but so yeah, it's we are very tight on fuel. But now we'll see where we are in the standings, or the qualifying standings, I should say. I don't think everyone's set fast lap yet, but we were tumbling down the order. Like, so I don't think there's much more I can get out of this car. It felt like a very good initial qualifying run. We'll probably go out again towards the end of the session with the tyre, or in the track, I should say, is at its, you know, grippiest, and we'll be able to find a few extra temps there.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:42.6.
So 42.6, my engineer is telling me. How does that stack up against everyone else? Well, where are we then? So Norris, Russell, there we are. So we are last by half a tenth away from George Russell. A few other drivers have still yet to set a lap time. So yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, how we stack up against, let's say, Butler, for example, who's 3 temps quicker than us. Well, we're 3 temps down in Sector 1, look at that. We're a bit down in Sector 2.
Speed trap, 192.5 miles per hour.
So we're 19th in the speed trap, yet we are quicker than all of these guys on the screen here. All of these guys were quicker than in the final sector. But if you look at our Sector 2 time compared to, let's say, Ricardo, for example, we're 6 or 7 temps down. Same as well in Sector 1. Raikkonen's just put in a nice lap to get himself up into 7th place. So, yeah, I don't know. And we will go out again towards the end of a session. But we might be able to snatch another position or two. But it's not looking good. It's looking like we're going to be starting at the back.
You're doing a great job. We're much higher.
So just under 3.5 minutes left of the session. There's a few cars out on track at the moment, but it's going to start filling up very soon. Bottas currently has provisional pole. Perez has done well, up into 5th place. Weber as well, he's in 8th. Raikkonen in 12th, that's a good performance for him. And we're not last, Sainz is last, 6 tenths slower than us. He must have made a major mistake somewhere. I'm sure he can improve. Having said that, Norris is only 17th, so maybe McLaren is just a bit off the pace here. I think I've swapped onto another set of softs, I have indeed. So we'll exit this screen and we'll get ourselves out on track for one more flying lap.
Checks complete. We're ready.
A lot of cars coming out on the circuit at the moment, as you can expect. Everyone wanting to try and find some track space now. There's a whole queue of cars here. It's going to be difficult to try and find some track space. Every car is out on circuit somewhere on this lap. We've got 2 minutes to get round. As Leclerc takes provisional pole on a 40.1, so we're 2.5 seconds off the leaders in an 100-second lap. So everything turned all the way to the max. I've managed to find a bit of track space behind Grosjean and ahead of one of the Williamses. It's going to be about 35 seconds left of the session once we cross the line. So this is now the final lap for everyone. Coming in 19th. Can we improve? Here we go.
Just 30 seconds left in the session. If it takes too much damage.
It's not going to happen. A little bit of front wing damage. I mean, I made a mistake in the left-right, so we're not going to improve. We could have improved a couple of tenths, I felt.
Take it easy on the car.
Don't know if it'd make much difference. So Leclerc has taken pole with Hamilton and Bottas setting the exact same time actually. Look at that, 0.302 off the pace. Hamilton ahead because he obviously set their lap time first. Bottas and Vettel together in 3rd and 4th. The Mercedes engine's quite powerful round here as you would expect with that long straight. So no surprise to see Perez in 5th, Weber in 8th, Stroll 9th and George Russell as well in 14th place for the Force Injury and Williams teams. Kimi's done well, I think it's his best qualifying on of the year in 11th place. And Devon Butler, Albon, Magnussen, Norris, where we are in 19th. So Sainz didn't improve in his lap time. They may genuinely be quite slow here. If we found 2 tenths, he would have only got us ahead of Norris, which means we would have hit our team objective, which is obviously to qualify and finish in 18th place. So I think it's the first time we failed to do that. So it's a bit disappointing, but we'll move on into the race anyway and see if we can pick up a few positions. So the rivalry breakdown then, we all completely qualifying, but unfortunately I got out-qualified by both Raikkonen and Russell, so we're 1 point behind Raikkonen, almost at halfway stage. We're still 2 points ahead of George Russell as it stands. The resource points for qualifying, this will be quite low. We kept it clean, we took part in the session. but our result v car performance only 20 when we know we can get a maximum of 100. But we're over the 1200 mark anyway for the resource points. Reputation went up with a few teams, only just a little bit. Again, the respect level changing just a little bit. And that is qualifying over and done with.
Quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
No, it is not indeed. It's not the end of the world. So one message pre-race from Jeff. We've all been putting in the legwork for months back at the factory and throughout the weekend as well, but the only thing that really matters is today. So let's make all the effort worthwhile and make this another race to remember, okay? I'll be supporting you as best I can from the wall. We'll have a quick look on all of our units anyway. So 42% on the ICEs, the highest, the turbocharger, just 1% behind on 41. And we've added durability on both of them, of course. The gearbox then 41% coming into our fourth event, if you like. We'll probably order a new practice gearbox at the end of this, weekend, if you like, because that's already 33. But 41%, that'll be in the 50s by the time we finish this race. So we might have issues before the end of the 6th race, but we won't worry about that now. We will worry about what we're going to do here at Baku in the race. So that will be the end of the episode. Disappointing in qualifying. FP3 was, standard really. One practice program, got purple in it, still a bit slow. Qualifying, I could have improved the second run there at the end by a couple of attempts, nothing more, and it would have only moved me up to 18th place with a little brush of the wall, which does happen around here and will probably happen in the race. Pretty much kept me in 19th. But we'll go to the race and we'll see if we can at least claw our way up the order somewhat. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one very soon.